Hi, my name is Johnny. With my friend Nuzul, we are going to talk about thermal analysis. So, what is thermal analysis? Thermal analysis, when it comes to mind, is about heat and analyze it. So, it is a technique used to analyze the function of where a physical properties of a substance experience changes, no matter is heating environment changes or cooling environment changes. Okay, the physical properties that we analyze are usually a function of temperature and time. Okay, so among the techniques of thermal analysis, there are DSC, differential scanning calorimetry, DTA, differential thermal analysis, and TGA, thermal gravimetry analysis. I will be presenting TGA and the rest will be presented by Nuzul. Let's continue. Okay, in TGA, we'll be using thermal gravimetry analyzer as an equipment for the users to get the data. The TGA is used to determine the mass change of a sample as a function of temperature and time at a given temperature. This technique is used for quality control and assurance. Then it's also used to analyze the failure in a mixture and blends of complex polymer. And lastly, it's used to study the chemical properties and chemical processes accompanied by mass changes. So the picture is showing the TGA equipment. It consists of a sensitive analytical balance to measure the mass, and the furnace. It is an atmosphere where the heating will be occurring. And lastly, purge gas system. It is a technique where inert gases is introduced into a closed system. This is to prevent the formation of ignitable atmosphere. So, and lastly, temperature control and a computer for data display, where this is a phase and a place where we get our results. So, where does TGA is applied? TGA is applied on the situation like vaporization, sublimation, adsorption, and desorption, where there will be material characterization, degradation mechanism and reaction kinetics, and determination of organic and inorganic samples, and thermal stabilities.
Hi, I'm Nuzul and I will continue the discussion about DSC or differential scanning calorimeter. DSC is a technique where the differences in heat flow into a sample are measured by function of temperature and a controlled temperature program. And also, this technique usually used in the field of thermal characterization of solids and liquids. There is a few part of DSC equipment, which is a pen. There is usually two type of pen, which is sample pen and reference pen. And there is also heat transfer disk, which is usually made up of 60% of cuprum and 40% of nickel. And the data collected by DSC is data on endothermic and exothermic transitions at a constant temperature or during temperature ramp. Is this analysis done by setup of controlled temperature program? By applying a controlled temperature program such as isothermal, heating, or cooling, phases change and specific heat of material can be determined. The data that is collected by the DSC equipment will be displayed on a computer. Application of DSC. DSC usually provide information of kinetic and thermodynamic, vary RAM rate to extract info, activation energy varies, and the application is usually to determining transition of temperatures and energy involved, kinetic studies such as isothermal experiments, and determination of purity in compound. Okay, now we will discuss about differential thermal analysis, or also known as DTA. DTA is a technique where the differences in temperature between sample and reference are measured by function of temperature, time, and a controlled temperature program. And this technique usually used to measure the absorption and evolution of heat in sample relative to the inert reference. For example, for heat of crystallization and glass transition temperature, there is a few part of DTA equipment, and the most important part is furnace and thermocouple, where furnace is controlled under a temperature program A thermocouple is used to detect temperature difference between reference and sample, and the differential temperature is plotted against time or temperature. In today's market, most manufacturers have incorporated DTA into TJA analysis, which enable them to collect mass loss and thermal information. Application of DTA. DTA is widely used in ceramic and metals industries to study and characterizing materials such as polymers, metals, and ceramic. This technique is usually used to studying high temperature processes and relatively large sample. And as for sample, this technique can determine the decomposition temperature, phase transitions, melting point, boiling point, decomposition point, crystallization points, and thermal stability. This is the references that we use. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.